Okay, so I don't know if you can hear that. Music. Loud, loud music. It's almost 11 o'clock at night. They didn't even start till after 10. I thought that it was gonna be good and that we weren't gonna have to do this, but nope.
At least they're not as loud as this one set of neighbors that we have. I need to take it out. My hair's getting oily again. It does that. It has two settings. It is either.
Never mind. I'm not even going to ask why it's there anymore. Okay. So, I'm waiting up for Jean and. Yep. At least they're not as loud as this one neighbor, like 2 streets down. The thing of it is, though, is that Chris's bedroom is right there, and our bedroom is right there. And why did they have kids too. Why are you starting this after 10 o'clock at night? I don't even know. I don't even know if my phone's gonna pick it up because my phone sucks. But yeah, Jean has trouble hearing, like, a lot. The doctors don't think that he needs a hearing aid, but that same doctor is also not acknowledging that he was born deaf, so. What he needs is a test that goes through what frequencies he can hear and what he can't. The problem is that there are some frequencies that he can't really hear that well, or at all, or that have to be kind of loud. I'm just saying. Because he was born deaf, something a little bit more comprehensive would probably be more advisable. Because he's not gonna like my immune system isn't the same as somebody who was born with a healthy immune system, even though they considered it rehabilitated until shit happened. And I hate autoimmune disorders, and all that other stuff that goes on. Even like, that's never been the same. Well, it's like that, but with hearing. His hearing is. It's never been what it would be for someone who was born hearing. He got damn lucky, and he got it about as close as you can without an implant. But, it's never going to be the same, and just dismissing that without taking a look at it is like every doctor ever who's been like, oh, we're not going to do any sort of yearly x ray on your scoliosis. We're just going to imagine. Fuck you. And then the last one, like, the x ray place got it mixed up like 3 times. And that was like 2 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. I'm gonna cry now. Anyway, yeah. No. They're just gonna play. Let's not keep an eye on it and know where it is. So if there's a medical emergency and we have to do something or know how it's supposed to be, we won't know. Anyway, doctors aren't always like, some doctors are good, some doctors aren't. Unfortunately, my insurance won't cover the good ones unless it's for cancer, apparently. Because, I've had some good ones for that. I mean, the one was kind of cranky at that point, but she's. Whenever there's a persistent issue, she at least looks into it. So now I know that I got a cyst from treatment. Something I didn't have before. Didn't have the issue before. I had a shit ton of issues. A bunch of them sort of resolved with the surgery. But like a bunch of it was stuff I wasn't even bothering to complain to a doctor about because they weren't even listening about the other stuff. And the level of pain I go through, no doctor's going to know that because then they start trying to push pain meds on me. And I have chronic pain, and I made a decision a long time ago to go without pain medicine as long as possible and try and stick to things that actually solve the problem that is causing the pain as much as possible. Obviously, this did not extend to after surgery, they gave me something for that. But also, like, as soon as possible, I went, like, without pain meds. I think, yeah, I was like, basically, yeah. Like, it was kind of like a don't even bother sending them home sort of situation. Because that's how determined I am. I'm going to be in pain for the rest of my life. I would like to at least try and not become like my grandmother did. Oh, hell, you should see me try to start moving in the morning, though. It's bad. It looks bad. It really does. Because I get up and I can barely move. I'm just sort of can't even stand up straight because I'm so stiff. Everything's stiff. Like, not all of my joints will even bend right away. So, like, it's really bad. Once I get moving, though, pretty much any time I'm sitting still, it's kind of hard to get moving again. But I do it. And I guess that's what matters. Nobody wants to see what I look like in the morning. I probably look like a hunched over blob. Because, like, yeah. Yeah, nobody wants to see that. Except for Jean. Jean wants to see that. But Jean wants to see things that nobody wants to see. Like, Jean wants to see a lot of things. Well, I appreciate that he wants to see them. I don't really see what he sees. I just kind of look in the mirror and see flubber. Or, I don't know, something. Jabba the Hutt. And it's stupid funny because in that, like, people have actually said to me, "Oh, you're so confident." Nope. Nope, not confident. I just kind of learned to stop caring what other people thought. There's nothing that I can do about being fat. I can just kind of keep trying, even though it's kind of fruitless, and be as healthy as I can, be active, and do what I can. Be as healthy as I possibly can with all of this crap weighing me down, and I can't even do anything about it. Like, I've actually talked to people who have the same problem, and I hate to say this, but I understand, like, why they kind of eventually become inactive. Even if they're active, even through being fat as fuck. You know, whenever it is something that they put you on for a while that made you fat, it's... I didn't even really have a chance to not be fat, like, because they did this to me growing up. For stuff that later turned out I didn't have. Yeah. Because my grandmother was basically claiming that I had it until somebody was like, oh, we're gonna be an unethical jackass. And then people after that just, they don't check. So many things had to go wrong for what happened to me. The problem is that it happens to more people than you might think. Especially kids in the system. And I was in the system, so yeah. I was actually more afraid of the system without my grandmother than with her. Not because my grandmother was a shining beacon of goodness and protection, but because I knew the evil that was my grandmother. Because I could predict her. Because I knew when she was gonna go off. Because I knew when she was gonna be nice. Usually. I had some semblance of knowing what she would do, what she wouldn't do. I didn't know that with strangers. I wouldn't be able to take the dog with me. I wouldn't be able to have those weird, almost family moments with my grandfather. My grandfather's a bit of a stoic. And a lot of the time it was like he wasn't even looking at me anyway. Honestly, most of the damage he did was not doing anything. Yep. And then I used to beg him to take me fishing and shit, and he just wouldn't do it. There was one time that we went fishing. No, twice. The once, whenever my brother was down to visit whenever I was a teenager, and the once whenever we were camping that last time before my grandmother said no more camping ever, because she did that, you know, that sort of thing. Like, we weren't allowed to go without her, and we just weren't allowed to go, basically. She didn't want to go, so she said that it was health reasons, but it wasn't. It's funny because my Aunt Sherry will be like, oh yeah, it was totally health reasons, because she said so, right? Honey, the things that my grandmother could do to me, yeah, it wasn't health reasons. Most of my grandmother's problem is because she didn't get exercise ever. She just sat on that couch. Like, she never did anything. Except for beat the shit out of me. Like, she didn't. It got to the point whenever I would actually believe that she had trouble. Because her muscles fucking atrophied. She didn't have problems before that, though. She was completely milking it, getting everybody else to do things for her before she actually needed it. And it ended up that because she was doing that, she would need it, and that terrifies me. It terrifies me. I used to wipe this woman's ass. Okay, I don't want, like, Chris to grow up and be end up wiping my ass. I'm just like, no. You know, it terrifies me. I don't want to be anything like her. I don't think my grandmother had depression or anything. I mean, sometimes, you know, her complaint was that there was nowhere to go. Like, so it wasn't like she just didn't want to go anywhere or see anybody. It wasn't like, I don't know. My grandmother was always like that, though. And the things that she did to me, depression doesn't do that to people. I'm not sure my grandmother was even able to connect to people at all. I don't even know if she was able to bond. She was certainly capable of using whatever bond you had with her to manipulate the crap out of you. And boy, did she do that. But I have a hard time believing that crap about your grandmother loves you. My grandmother fucking couldn't stand me. I'm sorry, our bedroom's a mess. Or not really a mess per se, it's just cluttered. And I still have to make my walk around. The walk around, you know, the one where you're like, oop, laundry, oop, croutons, bag of croutons on the chair. Why is this here? I don't know. It needs to get put away. I set it on the kitchen table, but I gotta get up and go put it away after I'm done here. Yep, I don't know why it was there, but it was. That's just sort of something that happens, I guess. Anyway, I don't know. And whenever it comes to health stuff, like, I am so busy trying to, like, say, hey, I have this, but I don't have this. Because, you know, those records still pop up from time to time. Like, every once in a while, someone will be like, have you ever lived here? Or, you know, something will come up, like, in a hospital database. And I will have to say no. This is what I have. I don't have that. So, like, I'm 30 years old. And shit, I've been disputing since I was a teenager and managed to get taken off, you know, my diagnosis sheet and all that over the years. So, like, this mess that I had to clean up, it's like, every time you think you've got it all, there's a little bit left. Not to mention how completely and utterly destroyed my relationship with the few relatives that I actually had contact. Like, I don't want to say contact, but like they knew like more because they were actually talking to my grandmother. But then they also didn't know more because she was a fat fucking liar. Okay, fine. She was a skinny liar. But her lies had some fucking meat on them. Like, I swear, if that woman had been a spider, she would have had nothing but webs, like, everywhere. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Of course, spiders have webs, but I mean, like, you know the horror movie? You know Arachnophobia? I don't know, there was this movie I saw as a kid. There's a spider in the barn, webs everywhere, like that. It would have been like that. I'm terrified of spiders. It was something I thought of.
it's probably not comparative to literally anyone else. But I am terrified of spiders, and I was terrified of my grandmother. And I felt terrible because, like, as much as I miss my grandmother, as much as I didn't particularly want her to die, I felt relieved whenever she did. Because she couldn't hurt me anymore. She couldn't hurt anybody else. She couldn't threaten me. She couldn't threaten anybody close to me anymore. I couldn't, like, be told you can't be friends with this person, otherwise, their house is gonna get burned down. And there was actually a point whenever she told me, at such and such time, you watch, this place is gonna burn down. And it was on the news. And you become very aware whenever you're around stuff like that. How many of those, some of it, sometimes they would say that stuff was an accident. And you would know that it wasn't. And sometimes they would say that and you just wonder. Because there was stuff that they said that was an accident. You knew that it wasn't. It makes you question everything, pretty much. Anytime something like that comes up, you just question it. My grandmother had her fingers in some shit. And my grandfather was... My mom used to say love is blind. I don't know. I prefer a sincere love with both eyes open. But looking at my grandfather, I understand why my mom came to that conclusion. Who is love blind? At least in my grandfather's case. Some of it, I think he knew, and maybe he just went in denial about, or just went denial of how bad it was, or I don't know. But some stuff, it was like, man, I don't even... Some stuff, it's just... I don't understand how he missed it. Some of the stuff I'm pretty damn sure that he missed.